What's going on, Virgo? How are you doing? Welcome to your Scorpio Full Moon reading. I was meditating on some of the energy. Now, I went for a kayak today to get some time outside and just to do some meditating on the water. And it was just really, it was a beautiful afternoon. And while I was meditating on the energy for you, what came to mind was the cirrus clouds that had sort of spread themselves through the sky. And it was so enchanting and just wonderful to watch the different shapes and things come through. And, I remembered the hummingbird. The hummingbird came through as a sort of part of the message for Taurus. What came through for you, though, Virgo, was the way that these clouds would take the different shapes, and you could see the winds in the upper atmospheres moving these clouds along, and just how gentle it looked, but how intense a process it might have been. But just more than that, the ways that the clouds filled the sky. And that's where, those types of clouds are often those that start to look like angels in my experience. So it's almost like the sort of beginning point or starting line before before you get into these connections or seeing that energy. And there's something about this air energy that's important right now, Virgo. So it's like not getting too grounded in the details, and something about pulling back and seeing a big picture, something along those lines, like seeing a big picture for something. But like the clouds and the ways that they would take different forms and shapes. I just sat and watched for quite a while. And it's almost like you could see the wind painting on the canvas of the sky. And like it was this way that it's like the clouds were, and it is like is cirrus, as in CIRRUS, cirrus clouds. They're the really thin ones that almost look like these like trails through the sky. And to me, it was almost like the sky was singing, and that was the way that we were able to see the melody out loud. So it's almost like something along those lines. Like there's something about the winds and just that air element making visible, the big picture making visible something to you, Virgo. That will make you feel like a divine connection, like there's that angelic component as well. So let's dive in, though. But that's what I kind of got right from the jump. 222 on the time. Okay, so I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay. Let's do this here, Virgo. Yeah, it was such a beautiful afternoon. Oh my gosh, my arms look ridiculous though. Like, so much for SPF. Yikes. To be honest though, my knees are worse. It's brutal. I'm like a furnace when I sleep at night anyway, but now more so. Acceptance, 5-5. Less than a resignation energy, like resigning ourselves to a specific outcome. I feel like there's something that you're becoming more okay with, and that's making all the difference. Something about that making all the difference. And just like stepping into this energy of non-resistance, like we're not resisting something anymore, Virgo. Because it's almost like the resistance energy was what was making this really hard for you to conceptualize or to see clearly. To see clearly. Spiral dance of the goddess. Heart of the moment. God speaks. Spiral dance of the goddess. It's almost like this creation energy. Like there's something that you're bringing to life, Virgo. There's something that you're bringing to life. Present moment. It's accepting where you are. And I think that it's in that present moment acceptance, right? We're not, and again, this isn't like a resignation energy. Like we're like, oh, well, I guess that's what it is, right? Like, it's almost like there's something that we needed to let go of in terms of an attachment. but to an outcome. Like there was something that once you like disconnected from that and just went back into the present moment, because that's really all that attachment is, right? Is an attachment to a future timeline that we have built up in our minds that hasn't happened yet, that may still be unfolding, but it's this attachment that can completely throw us off course, right? So it's like releasing that opens up this whole other possibility, and something, maybe it's not that you didn't consider it, but I think it's something that is only accessible in the present moment, this sense of peace from it, because I do think it is sort of a seated energy, like it's a seating energy. I'll read Spiral Dance of the Goddess to you. It's 29, which is an 11 card, and it's my birthday in January 29th. Okay, so from a point of light unfolding, we become... Oh, let me do this here. I'm going to open it more so it doesn't close. From a point of light unfolding, we become a soul, then incarnate into a sacred body, and our lives become a work of divine art, a speck of heavenly presence manifesting itself through dimensions of time and space and into a life on earth made manifest. That is very interesting, because that's like the cloud thing, right? That cirrus cloud. It's like a work of divine art. The extraordinary fact of your existence is a divine happening. As though the light of the moon is dancing not only upon the water, but inside of it, your ancient light is dipping into the mud of the earth. This is how the soul becomes a divine human in the making. As you sense yourself moving and shifting from light to dark and back again, from knowing to unknowing, you are weaving your consciousness, your divinity, into sacred expression, manifesting your soul essence into the form of your life. Threading the light through the darkness without even realizing you're doing it, you are gently impregnating the matter of your body, of your life, with light. Your body and your life become luminous, radiant, and you assist others even just through your presence. So much like the clouds, Virgo. It sounds wonderful, and it is, yet it is not always an easy path. As the light travels through darkness, pain and suffering can arise in waves. Best to be present to it. Trust that it is not a permanent condition, and wait for the spiral to twist from dark to light again. Always moving closer and closer to the purity of the center and expanding outward eternally, as though you are being inhaled by the divine, filling cosmic lungs as they reach far and wide, taking in all of life. It's so clear to me, that wind and the aspect of how it paints the clouds on the sky, right? That breath. The message of this oracle to you is that you are growing. You are bringing more of your light into form. You may be meeting obstacles in yourself and in the world, but this is because you are bringing through the light. If there were nothing happening, there would be no obstacle. Bless them as signs that you are proceeding, and empower them no more. You shall be. All else is just divine timing. So I'm going to read that to you again. Bless them as signs that you are proceeding, and empower them no more. You shall be. All else is just divine timing. Wow. Virgo. All else is just divine timing. So it's like this, there's this, the heart of the moment too. It's like, this is where love meets you. Is like that present moment. It's where love meets you. And I feel like this is where it's like this, it's not just like like a puppy love kind of thing. It's like God speaks, like this is something much bigger. This is like a divine, soulmate connection of some kind. This is a divine connection of some kind. It's really fascinating to me, but fascinating not in like a sort of peeking in way, but just for the changes that this can bring about for you, Virgo. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what we've got. So we have acceptance. Spirit, can you please clarify this card for me, for Virgo, please, and thank you so much. This acceptance for Virgo. Justice. Wow. Yeah, it's not a resignation. This is like standing by your decisions. Making a decision and sticking to it. It's like an ace of swords, sorry. So that aspect of truth, but with like, I think this is like a little bit deeper than that for you, Virgo. I think. The Tower. Six of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. Ace of Cups. There's a process here. I feel like when we form attachment, so I brought up attachment here, and I'll bring that into this as a sort of injecture. When we form attachments, sometimes it's because we're afraid of losing something, or there's like a fear of imbalance, or that something will go. And it's the reason why attachments can be so appealing, even if it's just an attachment to a particular outcome, is because it means that we're still in the driver's seat. And I think this is like a disruption of driver's seat for you, Virgo, in some capacity at least. Like there's a disruption of the driver's seat, right? And the disruption of that driver's seat is the result of you making a sort of decision within yourself, right? Within yourself, that does, show up externally eventually, but it's almost like something it's brought back into balance, and it's worrying you a little bit because you don't have that same element of control that protected you. It protected you in a way, right? It protected you, but I think that what is actually bringing in that maybe you don't see it right now because you're caught up in the process, but it's bringing in love for you. And this could just be, this could be as simple as like a love for a project, or compassion for work that you're doing. This is connection to love, like divine love. Like this is something that is bringing in, and how interesting that the symbology is quite the same, that in this depth of our emotion is the heart of the moment, this realization of something 11:11 on the time that is not just heart-centered, but I'm hearing heart quaking. Okay, Virgo. All right, so Spirit, what messages do you have for Virgo, please? The spiral dance of the goddess. So you're accepting a process, and it's sort of, it's not like it's accomplishing things, but it is clearing something for you. This spiral dance of the goddess. It's almost like this it's like divine breaths. In a way, I feel like this is you showing up in your element here. I mean, that's more the Hermit, but the King of Pentacles is like you showing up in your own energy a little bit here. 3 of Swords. I think it's understanding that the 3 of Swords, it's like you wanted stability, and there was something that really wasn't stable that you had to move away from, Virgo, in order to find peace. And it was tough for you, I'm getting from this. It was tough for you. And I'm trying to read what the energy was that went into this particular storyline of the control piece, and, more of the backstory to the challenges upcoming in this spread. But it's like there was something really knocked you off your path a little bit here, and just it knocked you out of balance. But I think there was a heartbreak to it that you didn't really tell a lot of people about, maybe because you just didn't want to. I'm hearing rock the boat, but that's not there's no water context here necessarily. I mean, with the stories I've been telling about kayaking today, yes, but yeah, there was some very real heartbreak here, Virgo. Yeah, it's almost like you were carrying these 2 bags, these 2 things, like you were carrying crap with you, Virgo. And sorry, anyways, but like it's like one people couldn't really see, but there was one that people could see that you were like, oh yeah, this is just your standard everyday issue things. But then you had this extra one that was just like, that was there without fully being there. And it was this whole storyline of this. So it's almost like it made it hard for you to invest in much else. 7 of Wands. Yeah, it made you really defensive. Defensive in a manner of speaking, at least. 8 of Cups. But you're leaving that shit behind. Good job, Virgo. That's what I like to see. I mean, you may have already left it behind. But this is possibly just that sense of like, you recognize that there's like a better way to advocate for yourself. This 7 of Wands can also be an advocacy card. And it's like you're recognizing that there's a better way to advocate for yourself. And you're taking that path. You're walking that path. You're walking the path that is most enriching for you. And that it's like it draws you into this present moment space. This present moment space. And I just think about, it's like the dance of the clouds. Like we can't hear the wind. We can't hear the wind ripping through the atmospheres. But all that we see is this beautiful painting of the clouds in the sky. And it's almost like that's what was happening here. And it's like people could see these effects, but they couldn't see this extra bag you were carrying, this extra thing you were carrying, this extra stuff. So then the heart of the moment, it's like this draws you into the present moment. And what ends up happening here, from here, Virgo, it's like this, I want to say heart awakening, but I feel like less than that, it's just the awareness. Like getting into the, like, what is it? What is at the heart of every moment? It's like, that's where we notice. That's where we notice the details, like the clouds in the sky. And that's where we notice the details of what it feels like to not have to carry this extra bag with you, this extra stuff. Because even if you don't tell people about it, okay, even if you do not tell people about it, it still shows up in your energy. It'll still show up in your energy, Virgo. Like, for real, you can't hide shit. Like, you can't hide things. Trust me, like, you can't hide things. Even if, and it's not like hiding things to be like, 1555 on the time. It's not like to be nefarious or to be like, they can't see this. It's just more so like some things don't, that like, they're not nice to talk about. They're not good to like, to deal with. So you kind of, you keep them with you as like, well, yeah, that was a thing that happened. But until you really let it go, or like write a letter of intention to release it, or write a letter to the you that you were when it happened, or to the people involved, you end up carrying this in your energy, and you probably don't realize that you're doing it because you don't, it's not something that's in your awareness, but it's an energy that's still there. Spirit, can I please get some clarification here? Heart of the moment, King of Cups. Of course you would be, Virgo. Of course. Of course. Very, very in tune right now. You're very in tune. And that's what this does, though. It opens you up. It unlocks your heart. It makes you so accessible to the people around you. This is emotional availability, Virgo. This is emotional availability. So this could be you, but this could also be, emotional availability that you've always wanted. But this is also just a call to be more in tune with your emotions. And what a gift, though, when we put this down, to have that. Wow. Like, what a gift, Virgo. How did this fall out here? Okay, 8 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. 8 of Wands. It's almost like the unstoppable force meets the immovable object vibes here. Like, I'm just getting this sense of there's communication coming in. This could also be travel. General movement. I also see here a lot of it's almost like something takes you by surprise here, Virgo. There's something that takes you by surprise. Because I feel like this is really like, this is you just in your work, and you know, you're doing your thing. You're like, yep, happy and content. Great. Leave me alone. In a way, like that's the way that I'm reading it from here, and I'm chuckling because I'm like, oh, the universe has plans. The 8 of Wands is this fast moving towards you, this energy of moving towards you. It is inspired energy. This is very, it's like letting life flow, like alignment. This is, you know, also taking action. I think about this as like the bliss of the 100-meter dash as opposed to the marathon energy. So it's very like short and sharp. but also how blissful that can be when it meets you, because this is just possibly an epiphany, right? This is the light, but this is like almost like the light coming together in this moment, and this could be an epiphany for you, right? Your guides are really working overtime here, but it could also just be, Virgo, that you are becoming more aware and centered in the present moment, and that's unlocking offers from people who really are able to invest, because I think that by, it's like you by doing the work, you don't do the work because you expect the outcome. Like, I'm going to put the quarter in the gumball machine and it will come down the spiral and then go bloop at the bottom. That's not what that's fine. I did that. It's all right. But this Knight of Pentacles is this, like, the gumballs coming out and there's no quarter, right? Like there's no, I will do this and then this will happen for me. It's not like that, Virgo. So it's almost like the transactional bloop. Thank you. That took so long to get out. But it's like, it's just flowing. Like there's like a flow with someone. I do think this is a person specifically coming in. This could be with work or something like that. Like there could be this way where things are like jammed up and all muddled up if it's work or creative projects. And then someone comes in and you remember what it feels like to create out of a sense of joy. You remember what it feels like to make something out of a sense of bliss. So it's just like this, everything starts to click, Virgo. Things just start to click. And I think it's also about this patience was a big theme in the Cancer reading. But I think that this is like understanding that you don't have to do everything. Like this is the Knight of Pentacles is also the idea of progress over perfection, right? We don't have to be perfect. What counts more is making steady progress and that slowing ourselves down to savor the progress as well. Because if you're in that Eight of Wands energy too long, you don't really get to savor it, right? You don't get to savor it. And the Hierophant, which is, to me, a little bit, that's a committed energy for sure. There's that's also Taurus energy. And deepening the sensuality here on the pentacle energy in terms of that slowing down and getting into this sensuous place. And Taurus also is a little bit of Venus energy as well. It's also deepening your investment to perhaps someone or something. Someone or something. These just flew out. So we have the Page of Cups and the Six of Swords. Maybe something you didn't think would happen for you. Like maybe it was just like a foregone conclusion for you and you were like, okay, whatever. And maybe that was what this is that you were carrying. It could just be that expectation where you're like, okay, maybe when pigs fly, but not going to happen anytime soon. So it's like you settle for less and that becomes something that sticks in your energy, but then it sticks out like a sore thumb to the ones that you would otherwise attract who are aware of these things. And it affects the way that people treat you. So it's almost like you left that situation with nothing but the clothes on your back, energetically speaking. And really what this is a reminder for you right now, it's just a reminder that there's something here, Virgo, that you don't have to hang on to the past. Like you can dream up something bigger, and not just bigger as in like, let's produce all the things or that kind of thing. This is more so about like, let's dream as big as possible, because there's an aspect of the Magician here in this card. And it's also just something really heartfelt. Like there's a heartfelt offer that you maybe didn't think was possible or could come. I'm not sure. 2323 in terms of just the ways that you've experienced it before. So there was something here that you didn't think was possible, but as the universe does, it's surprising you. It's surprising you a lot. I'm hearing the song A Little Bit of Love by J.P. Cooper. It could be this aspect of like just that little bit of hope, like just a tiny bit of hope is all that spirit needs to really move mountains, right? Like it doesn't have to be a ton, doesn't have to be a lot. Just like this much turns into so much more. Because once it gets in, we begin to see that, like, it's almost like once that little bit of energy gets in, we start to see things that we didn't before, and it changes our perspective fundamentally. I'm hearing be willing to let your mind drift like clouds through the sky on a clear day. Maybe you need to dip into wishful thinking, Virgo. A little bit. Just like daydreaming. Let yourself daydream a little bit. Maybe. Page of Wands on the God Speaks. Definitely getting the downloads here. This is where like the daydreaming, it's like that. It's almost like that's where the inspiration is going to come from for what to do next, for the next steps to take. So it's like there's something that you need to, there's like a daydreaming space that you need to be in right now to a certain extent. Don't lose yourself in it and let it turn into expectations or fantasy, that kind of thing. But there's this aspect of like Page of Wands, like this element of, there's this element of things working out, but in a more inspired sense. In a more inspired sense. But it requires your full participation through hope. 10 of Pentacles. Yes, it does. Virgo. You planted some seeds. This is the like something bigger than you card. This is also, I consider it to be a marriage card, long-term commitment, reveling in the joy of something long-term that develops over the long term. It's not about short-term patience. This is about like in it for the long haul, like legacy stuff. This is like wholeness, sustained bliss, like this is someone who's in it to the same extent that you are, right? And not in it as in we have things on the line equally. No, this is like the energy being invested. 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. I feel like what just came to mind was like watching paint dry on the 7 of Pentacles. So you may have felt like this has taken a very long time. 7 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles is like, it's a long energy. But you know, all good things do take time, right? They do take time. And I'm hearing what's coming to mind is that you're not planting annuals anymore. You're planting perennials. You're planting perennials, Virgo. And it's like you're understanding the difference between doing this and planting this kind of seed every year and just stepping into that energy and having an aspect of your garden that is perennials that comes up every year. And that's this legacy energy. It's like plant smart, not hard. Maybe you're doing that with your hopes too. Interesting. Companion planting just went through my head. All of these things I'm thinking of as I begin to map out the garden at the house with my roommates. Five of Swords. Five of Swords. I feel like you may be tempted to, well, Five of Swords is also like a bit of like seeing yourself. Okay, Virgo. So this is like, I'm almost getting like seeing yourself as a bit of a, like a, I don't want to say like a loser, but like this, like the lessons of loss, like seeing yourself as having lost something because it's taking time. But I think you just need to know that it's not that you've lost anything. It's just that it's taking time because it's something that's valuable and important. So it's not looking at it through the lens of like, oh, this is taking forever, so that says something about me not deserving it. No, this is saying something about the quality. Like the quality is different. There's something about that too. think about it this way. There are some bushes that only flower once a year for like a week. So all of the work that goes into growing that plant and to keeping it alive and sustaining it, the leaves are still there. There's still foliage on it, but it's just the flower for about a week every spring, and it draws really unique birds in. The name of it is escaping me, and oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me nuts. But it's like it draws in such unique wildlife to this plant, and some hummingbirds later in the like that, depending on the weather too in the season. But it's definitely doing a number. I can't remember this, but the essence of this is that it's not that the plant is not considered any less than because it only blooms for that 1 week. That whole year goes into making this. And I'm not saying that that's going to be like yay for a week, woohoo, and then it just disappears. Sorry to blow a raspberry in your ear. It was for emphasis. I'm being in my Leo, but this is like about taking a step back and understanding that just because something's taking time doesn't mean that it's not coming. Right? It doesn't mean that it's not coming. It's like, do you want to be right or happy? But you can be both, Virgo. It's just changing your perspective because something is working out here. 9 of Cups on the bottom. Something is working out here. Patience, young Jedi. 4 of Wands. Are you shitting me? Yes, something's working out. Queen of Cups too. And the Chariot. Dang. Okay. Yeah, something is definitely working out, Virgo. Don't worry. Oops. Sorry about that. There's little springs on this microphone stand. So every now and again I hit them and I just really just tickle your eardrums with something fantastic. I know. Something's working out here, and like it's it feels like it's taking forever, and then it's just like all at once it just goes whoosh and like speeds up, like just right, it speeds up. But this is a wish fulfillment. This could be a project or job or a relationship, but just remember that it's not about it taking too much time. It's not about it taking too much time. Like it's not equated to deservingness is what I'm saying. Wow. So on the spiral dance of the goddess, we have this is the third eye card. Soar like an eagle to find clarity. Things are not always as they seem. Yeah, that's like it's taking a long time. Where is it? Well, it's just give it a second. Soup takes time to simmer. It has to cook. Same thing when you make a curry. You have to take the oils and the onion and cook that together and give that enough time not to brown or burn. Then you add the spices with the chicken and everything, and it's all timed. Just so. Soar like an eagle to find clarity. Things are not always as they seem. See the beauty and the gift in everything. Pay attention to the messages that are gifted to you in life and through your imagination. Wishful thinking. It's like we have to be in that space, Virgo. Just let your mind wander, right? Let your mind wander. What would it be like to walk through the halls of that workplace? Close your eyes. Think about that. What would it be like to hold hands with that person? What would it be like to, I don't know, like to whatever else comes to mind? But like be in those places that evoke a specific feeling. Don't get attached to the outcome, but it's okay to sink into that and just employ that wishful thinking. So pay attention to the messages that are gifted to you in life and through your imagination. Dare to dream and create a vision for your life. You are the creator of your own reality. I am putting that right there. Well, no, you know what? It was here. See, spiral dance of the goddess. The ebbs and flows. Yeah. The ebbs and the flows. Exactly. Okay. That makes perfect sense. It's about the ebbs and the flows here and understanding that when we slip into letting ourselves daydream just a tiny bit, like not living from that space, not attaching to outcomes, it's like our mind wanders. And when our mind wanders, sometimes images come to us that are not the product of our mind, but something higher because we're in that joyous place of creating and we're allowing our mind to be a blank enough canvas that we can let information and things in. So it's about understanding that as well, Virgo. Free will. Ooh, I got big goosebumps on that one. Whoa. Okay, free will. And this is on Heart of the Moment. Something you thought would never happen. Free will. I recognize that I always have choice and free will in any given situation. As I face my life lessons and learn from my experiences, I realize that there is never a wrong decision. I trust that the decisions that I make and choose love. I trust the decisions that I make and choose love, forgiveness, and expansion over fear and lack every time. I always have a choice. This is definitely about like you can choose a higher thought here, right? Like you can be in this Six of Swords energy and is like thinking, well, that's never going to happen. So I'm just going to choose whatever's in front of me or the lesser options, right? But you have the choice to be in this page energy that's a lot more conducive to dreaming, to the dreams that you want to create for yourself. So Virgo, what messages does this deck have for you here? Spirit, what messages do you have for Virgo, for this Scorpio full moon, this depths here? Messages from the depths. Expansion. And that was on the acceptance card. Ooh, I'm getting big Jupiter vibes off this bad boy. I don't know why. This bad boy. I don't even know. Expansion. I'm getting something about higher chakras here. A little bit. Something about higher chakras here. And this acceptance. It's like acceptance frees up your energy and you're able to see things from a bigger perspective. These transpersonal chakras really help to give you, it's almost like they ground you because they're like writing on the sky. This is so wild. Because they're like writing on the sky, like the cirrus clouds. It's like they offer you something that grounds you, Virgo, but it grounds you in an air way. So it grounds you in a counterintuitive way, but it anchors you still nonetheless. That's interesting. I'm going to pull from the notes from the universe on love and connection here. Spirit, what messages do you have for Virgo, please? Messages for Virgo. Pucker up, buttercup. I get the impression that there's maybe a little bit of love coming in for you. Being fair and reasonable will earn you respect and admiration, but being genuinely kind will make you a total love magnet. Pucker up, buttercup. It's very cute. Sometimes we think that we're calling in love and like a person that will love us. But one of the things that I love about this and just stories that I've heard is that we're actually just calling in opportunities to give love. And that's really the sweetest kind there is, you know? Like we're calling in opportunities to offer love to other people, to give love, to love people where they are. That's just beautiful. I surrender my desires and I know the universe has my back. I surrender my desires and I know the universe has my back. I feel like you're giddy about something. There's like a giddiness, Virgo. I just bit my bottom lip. Like what? There's no reason to. What are you? That's beautiful. Stay in that. That's a good that's a good manifesting energy. And if nothing else, it just feels good, right? It feels good. So I surrender my desires and I know the universe has my back. I speak with confidence because the world needs my light. I speak with confidence because the world needs my light. Maybe it's about sharing these joys too. We don't have to share them and be like, this is, and like shout things from the rooftops. That's not the energy I'm talking about here. It's really just speaking with confidence about what we want to bring into our world, because that gives us a light that makes us lighter, right? It's not about getting things to get into that energy, but understanding that it also does have that effect, right? Like I'm hearing the cascade of love, cascading effect of love. Virgo, this was your reading. The cascading effect of love. Who knew? I feel like you might have, Virgo. But yeah, this is just beautiful. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. I'm grateful that you watched, and yeah, I'm so grateful to have you here. So it helps me to grow this channel when you do. So thank you so much for that. If you want to connect with me in other ways, you can do so. Just check out the other videos on the channel. There's many other offerings. And if this is where we part, though, Virgo, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very, very well. Take care, my lovelies. Bye.